There is something from FFXIV subreddit. So it says YOSHI-P Millenium or French interview translated. Let me get this on screen for y'all. Details on market board rewards. Market board, comma, rewards, Limsa, comma, and level job design. Okay, so the first question was, YOSHI-P, what kind of increased rewards can we expect for Dawntrail? Many people have asked him this. So far, every time I've heard him answer this question, he just said, could be mounts, could be some gear upgrades. You know, he's been a little vague. He said, as for increasing the number of rewards and the number of items, it might give the teams a lot of work, but I think we can do it. Okay, number of rewards and number of items. That's the first thing. We could take an easy route, which is throw in some new bland and uninteresting items to artificially increase the number of items. But that's not what people expect from Final Fantasy XIV. My confetti from House of the Dead would like a word. What about all that fireworks and confetti you put in these every box? Are you? Of course I expect that. You do that all the time. What are you talking? I expect to have polished designs, original things that people want to own. So obviously create items that have a personality, a certain cachet. What does that mean? It requires people, artists, people who are going to rack their brain. Okay, what are you putting in? What is the rewards, YOSHI-P? This means if we want to increase the number of items, we need more artists, more staff, more... That's not the question. Okay, he says it's going to be more work on our side to have good items. Got it. What happened during 6.x? The team really racked their brains to try to offer players some slightly new content. New types of content, variant dungeons, that kind of thing. But the rewards were perhaps not up to the cost and time and effort to get started on this content. Right. The rewards didn't match what you're asking people to do. Materia is not a good reward for Criteria and Savage. And so, unfortunately, real life often catches up with players. You have to choose what to invest your time in. If the rewards are not attractive enough, yeah, okay. So what's the reward? That's a lesson learned from the season. The patches that have passed. Create rewards that will interest... What is it? Okay. 1.5 times more rewards than what it was planned. Okay. I had a meeting the day before I left France with my teams, and so we talked a bit about increasing these rewards and gradually increase it. Okay. So he didn't really answer the question. He just said the rewards will be good. It will be 1.5 times more rewards. Okay. Got it. What's the new exploration zone gonna be like? Oh, good question. We took the time between the last part of Baja and the next updates that are coming to take stock of these types of content. These new play areas. Try to identify what's the best elements of Eureka, the best elements of Baja, and things that didn't work. Okay, yeah. And from there, to give birth to a new play area that combines a little bit of the best of both worlds. Yes, so to have content that's interesting in terms of exploration, but also requires collaboration from all the players. Yeah, good. To tell you the truth, we're pretty much done with the planning phase, and so we've really laid the groundwork. We determined what kind of content the new exploration will be, and what we can expect from it. Production's on our way. It's going to be a fairly significant project. Okay. Okay. One I think fans of the Final Fantasy series in general will like. That's all you can say. A little scoop is that this content will be like the previous ones, content that will be updated as the different patches of the 7.x series come out. And for now, we're planning the release of the first content for patch 7.2. 7.2. 7.2. That's when we're going to get the first taste of it. That's in 8 months. Yeah. That's in 8 months. That's forever. Are FFXIV players too rich? Local currency in a game, especially in an MMO, the higher the value of a currency, the more opportunities it creates for this kind of business. Even if it's hard to call them businesses. But profiteering, wait, that's... I don't know if that was the question. Okay, so he starts talking about RMT. Okay. I understand little pride. The pride players have in amassing money. When you're a crafter and you manage to sell your creations and you reach your first million gil, first 100 million gil, is the pride in having reached a certain level and saying, I did well. I understand and share this appetite. How can we use the money? Because if we, okay. We had players who told us that they had too much money, that they didn't know what to do with it. They didn't know how to use it. Yeah, I have been complaining about that. And then they added the gill sync mounts, which is a very good thing. Gill sync mounts is awesome. Awesome idea, very good idea. However, we were thinking about other ways to use this money that weren't mounts, but that didn't have an influence on the gameplay. Could we offer them titles to become owners of the Scorpion Cartel and have title of owner of the Scorpion Cartel? Oh. Okay. Why no market board in the second city? Actually, good question. For each expansion, there will be a main hub, a main city, the one that will welcome the greatest number of players. For us, it's important the city is welcoming, and that allows the greatest number of people to be there, since it's where the majority of people spent their time at the beginning. We think the players who will take this expansion along the way, who will arrive later. The fact that if we only put the beginning things in the first city, and we put all the higher level things in the second city, what? They'll say, the capital, Tuliol, it's the capital. There's supposed to be lots of people. And there's... Oh, wait. Is this spoilers? Oh, my God. Okay, I'm skipping. I saw something about Solution 9. Why the f would he talk about Solution 9 when I haven't done Solution 9 yet? Next question. Why not be able to change servers in any city? The system seems simple on the usage side. But behind it requires very complex and very... Because spaghetti code. Because spaghetti code. Okay. I think it's silly that they wouldn't want to put a market board in the second city because they want Tuliol to feel more like the main city. I think this is pretty dumb. It's fine. Like, you can go to any market board at the press of a button. It's not like... I also think that there are sections in Tuliol where you should be able to mount up. I think it shouldn't be that the entire city is unmounting zone. Maybe near the gates, you should be able to mount up. I think I prefer the Charlian design too, where the market board is right next to the Aetheryte. That's why Limbs of Lemons is so popular. It's because it's the shortest distance from the market board to the main Aetheryte. And Charlian did kind of the same thing, which made it pretty solid. For the most laziest people like myself. Yeah. Okay, so this was a question about why not being turned to servers in the city. It's never gonna happen. It's kind of boring. What will happen after level 100? Basically, it's bad net code and the spaghetti code. You know, it's the question. It's the answer we all expect. Okay, after level 100, it is a discussion we're really having at the moment with the other members of the team. Namely, literally, what are we doing to make people understand that there's an evolution in the jobs? That is to say that increasing a figure of a level cap is one thing, but what interests people and what brings people close to their characters is this feeling we have an evolution, a character who grows, who becomes more and more powerful. How do we make people feel their character is becoming stronger? With the figures, it's a little difficult to keep this idea of a level cap. Would there also be the use of materials allow the character to be strengthened? What? No! God! Don't even think about that shit. Imagine ascension materials needed for your character. Oh my god. No. So there we are, really thinking about what we could do. Do we keep the level cap? Or do we find another way to progress? On the contrary, do we continue to increase the levels but with other things on the side? We're exploring a little different avenues at the moment. The other point we were discussing is that we've indeed reached this rather significant stage of level 100. But we've also reached a complexity. I think that what they should do, I like actually, I feel like they got two options. They can do what WoW did, which is level squish, or they can do what Elder Scrolls Online does, which I think is pretty decent. But Elder Scrolls Online does, their system kind of works better if your game is more alt-friendly, which ours is not alt-friendly at all. But maybe it could still work. It's like you reach a certain level, and then after that, you start accumulating champion points. And then you can put champion points into different talent trees. I mean, that's a pretty standard way to solve this problem. But the thing with Elder Scrolls Online is you collect the champion points on any character. So, but I don't know how important that is to the whole thing. I like the way Elder Scrolls Online handles it. It's pretty good. But like, we don't have talent points in FF14. I feel like if they were to actually add talent points and specs and builds and stuff, that would be so insane. That would completely change your experience of leveling in such a radical way that I struggle to imagine Square Enix would ever do it. They don't like to make these kinds of radical changes. They usually like to change things a tiny bit, or not at all. Or like make a change that's so similar to the original that it's barely can be considered a change. That's usually what they like to do. So I struggle to imagine that they would do anything like an overhaul of how leveling feels with builds and points and shit. I just don't see that happening. I think it's more likely they'd either do a squish or make you do, I don't know, level 110, 120, 130. That's what I think they're gonna more likely do. But maybe I'll be wrong.
Optimus Prime.
So what do we do? Do we continue in this direction of complexity with always more new actions, always more new keys, which make the use perhaps even more complex for some players? Oh my god, yeah. That's true. What are they gonna do if you have to keep getting new buttons and the game is already really complex? Soggy Tacos, thanks for the 2-month resub. Amen Arthas, thank you for subbing. I appreciate y'all very much. Also, Demi, thank you for gifting a sub. Well, in the stream starting soon screen. And Forrest Walker, thanks for the 29 months resub. Durani, thank you for the 21-month tier 2 resub. Appreciate y'all. Did you see they added the new fish from Vegas FanFest at the... Yeah, I did! Every radical change got segmented off to other content like Basha. Exactly right. Exactly right. Yes. Alistor, you were asking me to raid on Friday? What time? I would love to. I would love to do that. I need to see which raids I still need for the mount. But anyway. Yeah, I don't know. They really need to think about this because I don't think I can handle my job being more complex. Yeah, I'm playing, I play a lot of Dancer, I play a lot of Summoner. I'm pretty interested in Viper, and let me tell you, I'm just so busy. I'm so busy on those jobs that I can't imagine being more busy with another button that they could add. Or on the contrary, do we think about a new way of playing the jobs? Another system of complexity, which is not just an accumulation of more skills, but another way of using them, another way of playing. I like what he's saying, and I like where his head's at. You know, this sounds really cool. It sounds like a big shakeup that the game really needs. But at this point, I don't believe it will happen because this is a shakeup on a scale that is just unheard of in FF14. I hope to see it, but the proof is in the pudding, right? We also have to keep in mind that Final Fantasy XIV is a game that wants to be quite universal. A game that wants to appeal to both people who play occasionally as well as people who are going to play a lot. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Yes. True. Both of those people. That's the difficulty of an MMO, but that's the challenge you gotta rise to meet. You need you need casual, mid-core, and hardcore people. You got to make them all happy. I don't know how, but you got to figure it out. So there may also be people who are so involved that they will be very reluctant to change, because obviously when you spent time remembering your rotation, when you've been so involved in a job and mastered all its subtleties to precisely pass the most difficult content, I can understand that there's a certain reluctance to have in-depth changes. But at the same time, our goal is also to create excitement, to create motivation, to discover something new, to always refresh the formula. Like, what he's saying sounds so crazy. Like, it's based, but it also sounds so crazy based on the job changes we've seen in Dawntrail. Of course, they said job changes will be major in 8.0, but this sounds like such a different philosophy than the philosophy that brought us where we are right now. Because staying on the same basis forever is not very healthy for the game and for the future of the game. You always have to change things a little, bring something new. Otherwise, you risk stagnating. So our goal as creators is also to always challenge ourselves, always question ourselves. And we hope that the different decisions we will make... You know what? I believe him. I'm going to tell you why I believe him. Because he promised us that the battle content in Dawntrail would be excellent and would be different. And so far, he's been right about that. He never said the jobs were going to be different. In fact, he warned us the jobs are not going to be very different, and that the big job changes where you feel each job is unique, that's not going to be happening until 8.0. He told us that before Dawntrail even came out. And so far, all of that's been accurate. So his communication on this points has been honest, and pretty much everyone can agree. Everyone that I've talked to, the battle content has received overwhelming praise. This is one thing everybody can agree. It's great. You know, the community has a pretty positive consensus on how the battle content's been received so far. And that's the thing that he said that they really tried to innovate on. So because of that, I believe him. I believe that what they're cooking for 8.0 for jobs is gonna be pretty good. I like where his head's at. I like with him saying, you know, we gotta refresh the formula. I understand some people are stuck in their ways with they mastered the way their job is, but we gotta switch it up. I like it. I like what I'm hearing, but I want to see it. And it's gonna be 2 years before we see job changes in if any significant way.